Welcome to Semper Sometimes with Benny. I got Quentin with us. I actually met him at one of them at the expo that I went to, the Board Biz Expo. So we've been in talks about this, but schedules conflict and it takes forever to get together on shit. But I'm excited for it. So I'm not even gonna waste time introducing you because I really don't know you. So I'm gonna let you do that on your own. So introduce yourself, man, and just number one, welcome to the show. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast and just kind of tell us who you are, tell us a little bit about you, just give us a background on you, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, man. Hey, again, thank you for having me, bro. I know I've been flaking,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
appreciate you having time. But no, everyone, my name is Quentin Hardy. Pleasure. From North Carolina. Uh, Now I live in Washington D.C. I'm an Air Force veteran. So other than doing government contracting all over the district, I also do stand-up comedy on my off time, uh, and as well as also try to teach comedy at the same time. So that's honestly not much about me is different or interesting. Uh,
Okay.
I
Where what made you join the Air Force? Why'd you like how did that all come about?
man, I feel bad because like when you go to basic, everyone asks like the drill instructor always asks you like three questions, like the why did you join my whatever branch? And usually there's always three answers. There's always like heritage, like my grandpa served and my uncle served, my daddy served, so now I want to serve. And the other answer is like, sadly, 9/11. So they're like, yeah, I want to do my part. When it came down to me, it was like, yeah, I got my heart broken in high school. So, I thought, fuck this town, I'm coming over here.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
No, it was a horrible reason why I joined, but like I was trying to choose between the branches, and I have two older brothers. One's in the Marine Corps, one's in the Army, and they both told me don't do it. They're like, don't do the Army, don't do the Marine Corps. Apparently I wasn't cut out to be like in their eyes. So they're like either the Navy or the Air Force, and I just didn't want to be called a seaman all day, so I just chose the Air Force.
Okay. What did you do in the Air Force?
Intel of the intelligence analysts.
Oh, okay. How'd you like that?
Honestly, I didn't know how to feel about it because when you do your wish list, I had an idea what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a doctor, so I chose like on my dream sheet like 12 medical doctor jobs, and then number like 25 was Intel, and I had no idea what Intel my recruiter was like, yeah, he'd be like on some James Bond jumping off the trains. He worked in HVAC. He didn't know what the hell
Yeah.
it was. So I got it. And it was kind of the confidence boost that I needed. Because all my life, I had teachers that were like, oh, you ain't gonna amount to nothing. You ain't smart or whatever. So then somehow I got the job in intelligence and I was able to do some really cool stuff that actually got to help out a lot of people from just sitting behind a computer and just being the whiz kid behind the scenes. So Intel was a lot of fun.
So how was your I'm gonna be real with you. I know one Air Force dude. And he was the Air Force recruiter, and me and him just bashed heads every single time I ever saw him. So we never really ended up bullshitting. So I've never talked to anybody long enough to even know anything about the Air Force. So how did you enjoy your time in the Air Force, and also how long were you in the Air Force?
I only did 4 years. Once I did basic training, I was like, yeah, this ain't for me.
Oh,
I did my
really?
yeah. Well, because I was the only one in my like outside of my brothers. No one in my family ever done the military, so I never grew up around that culture. I just wanted an idea of, what direction. Because I had no direction, I had no idea what I wanted to do in life. So I
Hmm.
figured, let me just get a jump start at it, which the military helped out with that.
So how do you go from how do you go from your wish list being doctor to stand-up comedian? How does that?
Man, so that happened after I got out.
Okay.
But I mean, a lot of people already know that once you get that veteran status, life ain't no longer the same. You leave all your friends, and all your friends are either still on base doing their thing, and you're trying to gel in a world that doesn't speak your vernacular, that
Yeah.
don't have for them it's all free fall. So they don't have your discipline. So you're trying to blend in a world with no discipline, which is tough. So there's this group called Armed Service Arts Project, ASAP, Armed
Okay.
Service Arts. And this nonprofit organization, they teach veterans how to do like the simple arts. You know, you got to do music, teach you how to draw, how to paint, and even how to do stand up. So they teach you. So that's where I learned how to do stand up, was from that organization. Now, all they can teach you is just, hey, this is what a joke is. This is what a setup. This is what a punchline is. They couldn't teach you how to be funny. They couldn't teach.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you, because like I feel like a comedian. I feel like it's one of those things that you're born with. Like I feel like I can't. Like I would love to. I think I'm a funny ass dude, but now do I think I'm funny enough to be standing up on stage doing stand up? I don't know. Like
and that's
you
and
know.
that's what it kind of taught you, because now it's all right. Now you have the key. How you gonna drive your car?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, now you got to go to the open mics. Now you got to audition for shows. Now you got to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning trying to get a 5-minute spot somewhere. So they couldn't teach you how to hustle to do comedy, but it kind of taught you like, hey, this is how you put thoughts on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times, because I think that group, the Armed Service Art Project, a lot of people don't do therapy. Oh, god damn, I got ash all over my camera. Oh, shit. All right, cool. So we're still in it. My fault.
No, you good.
So yeah, a lot of veterans don't do therapy. So this organization, it kind of just taught you, hey, all the things that's going up here, put it on a sheet of paper. And the only rule of stand-up is just be funny.
Yeah.
You could be funny with that, then however your career goes, And for me, I've always been a funny dude, always been a funny kid. So just the idea of knowing this is how the route to do stand up. A lot of people just think, oh, they just found you one day and you're now Kevin Hart or whatever. But nah, there's a process to it, and it starts with just going to an open mic, killing the open mic scene, and from open mic scene, going to the comedy clubs, however long you go.
So how long have you been doing this?
4 years now. 4 years going on 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just what do you so yeah, do you love it? Like, is this your profession, or is this kind of like a project for you?
Both. I would say both. I ain't gonna lie to you now, because I guess I'm a government contractor.
Oh yeah,
I always told myself, until comedy makes government contracting money, then comedy will be my number one job.
yeah.
Ooh, that's a long. I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
With the mic 5, so it's hard for me to be like, all right, cool. I'm gonna quit my job to follow a dream.
Yeah.
Especially after having this whole quarantine that just happened.
Yeah.
I was blessed to have a job.
Yeah. Bro, and that's the thing, man. Is like, you listen to all these different like podcasts, and you listen to all these different people, and they're like, hey man, just if you love it and you want to do it, just quit your job tomorrow and go out there and just make it happen. And I'm like, listen, man, I get that. And that's awesome. But I have a family, I've got 2 kids, I got a car, I got a mortgage. Like, I can't just trade all my life away to just start this podcast. Like, I can't do it. You know what I mean? And would I love to? Of course. I'm sure you would love to just say, hey, F it. Let me just go be a stand-up comedian around the world. And then if I make it, I make it. But the reality of it is that you have responsibilities. So I don't really know how, like, I don't know.
I ain't gonna say I've seen it enough. A lot of people, especially in stand-up comedy, like I meet people that are like, yeah, I'm a stand-up comedian full time. A lot of times they're married already, and they sugar mama. They got a sugar mama that's helping.
Mm.
Like it's very rare that I've seen someone uh, in the arts 100% by themselves, no roommate living. Like it's the grind is what I mean. That grind is a long grind, and if you can quit everything, push everything aside for the love of the grind, hey, I salute you.
Yeah.
But I've been broke before. I don't want to go back being broke.
Mm.
A lot of people are like, if you ain't never been broke and you finally get a little bit of get like dollars, it's yeah, it's a tough way going back. So we will stand up. It was I had that mindset of I'm good. I'm making a little bit of money. Am I making enough money to pay my rent? Nah, but I could find a part-time job to supplement that as long as I can focus on my comedy. And like I said, once that quarantine hit, it changed a lot because that
Yeah.
stand-up wasn't what was taking care of like me and my family on my end. It was so to answer your question, that was a long rant, but to answer your question, it's in my mental, I like to say it's a profession. Because like I live and breathe comedy. That's what how I keep myself sane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do comedy. I gotta go do comedy. I gotta make someone laugh and feel like I'm doing something.
Yo, so you want to hear something real funny? I think you might appreciate this, right? So, and I'm gonna ask you this question because I'm assuming you know who he is, but I'm gonna just say it, right?
Yeah.
Do you know who Arsenio Hall is?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what came over me, right? But when I was on recruiting duty, I never forget this shit. I was out at a college and I was in my uniform and I was driving around because I had to drop this girl off. I had to wait for her to get out of class and stuff. And it was me and this corporal who was on recruiter assistance with me. And we were just driving around, like we were in between her classes. It was like 6 hours, like, and I had to bring her back to MEPS to do all this shit, whatever. So we're driving around for like 5.5 hours. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm like, yo, I'm gonna just, even though I know like 9 times out of 10, no one at a 4-year university is gonna join the Marine Corps. I was like, I'm just gonna start effing with these kids. So I'm driving around in my government vehicle, and I pull this dude over. I'm like, yo, come here, come here. This dude come walking over, and I'm like, hey man, I'm like, yo, do you know where Arsenio Hall is at? I can't find it for nothing. And he's like, well, that's like so and so hall, and he's like, that's that hall. I'm like, bro, I need to find Arsenio Hall. Like, I can't find it nowhere. I don't know where the hell it's at, and I have class there. Like this dude, I gotta bring him to class, and we don't know where Arsenio Hall is at. And this person's just like, nah, man, I can't help you. So I keep going. I keep going. Like I'm pulling like yo, probably like 15, 25 people. So finally, this random black dude, I'm like, yo, 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 yo. He's like, what's up, man? I'm like, yo, do you know where Arsenio Hall is at? And he looks at me and he goes, really, bro? I'm like, yeah, like the building, Arsenio Hall. He goes, bro, you talk about the comedian, bro. I was like, bro, you know, you're the first person out of like 30 people today that had no idea what I was talking about. And then I just kept doing it. Like every time I go to a college, I do it. And nobody ever is like, really, like no one ever catches it, but it's funny as hell.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When I got out of the airport and I went to college, that was where I met some of the most dumbest people. Were the ones that were able to do their 4-year degree. And I was like, I couldn't be there for more.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, I'm not gonna talk nobody down, but I would agree with you. Like the amount of people that I've met at these universities while on recruiting duty, I'm just like, bro, you sure you sure you're supposed to be here? Like,
It's but but that's when like my baby brother, he's now in college. He just
uh-huh.
is doing his in now, and since I'm trying to coach him up a little bit, because like I know how easy it is to get an easy major, just so you can have the best college experience. You will do a basket weaving major just so you can turn up in college
Yeah.
because you don't see past your nose. I'm gonna make it somehow.
Yeah.
Or your sociology's degree, your so I'll keep telling them, hey, getting that STEM, that science, that math, engineering, yeah, It's gonna be hard, but I promise you, these 4 years ain't gonna matter when you're 32. So uh, I'm glad I did. I mean, granted, I only did college for 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
but looking back at it, I think I became more successful for not going to college than
Bro,
if I would have stayed
uh,
and got my degree.
again, I don't know. I'm not saying I disagree with college. I'm not saying anything like that.
Oh no,
Um,
no.
I think that if you have the money and your parents got the money and you got the backing, then go. But when I talk to people about it, like I work with this female, right? There's this female that I work with, and the other day I found out that she's 25 years old. She went to a local one of our local universities. She paid like $150,000 for a 4-year degree. She got the same job as I did, and I don't know whether we have the same salary or not, but I did the Marine Corps, she did this college, and now she lives at home with her parents. Her parents pay her car bill, her parents pay her phone bill. And it's like, and she's literally tells me like I get paid 62 grand a year. So I don't know if she does too, but so everything that she makes is going just to her college degree. And I'm like, and she tells me, she's like, I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have money to go to the gym. She's like, I don't have money to do this. She's like, I just work and I go home. I work and I go home. And I'm like, bro, like, why are you 25 years old and that's your life? Like, and it's crazy because like I'm one of the only people that works at my job that doesn't have a bachelor's or higher. And it's nuts. It's nuts.
See, that's why I like doing comedy in DC. Because I did comedy in New York and LA and all these places like that, Chicago. DC got some of the smartest people as far as audience members. Like everyone here is that Ivy League type.
Yeah. Bro, please tell me you be roasting some Ivy League people.
It's too yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, like I like everyone have a good time.
Yeah.
If you're being a jerk while I'm doing my thing, then yes. But at the end of the day, I want to say my piece. I don't know who you are, so I'm not going to roast you because I had in my mind. This is what I've been thinking about all day. But you ask these people, like, yo, why did you choose this route? Of all the routes you could have chosen, like a lot of them, they had no choice.
Yeah.
Or like that director was already chose for them. They had to go this way. They had to do the college route. Or their parents were that alumni money. They have that alumni.
Mm-hmm.
At least in DC, it's the smartest dumb people you will ever meet, man. So, and I mean, again, I don't know where else I could have lived once I moved from North Carolina to up here. But I'm always glad I chose this place because the people you meet, no one's ever from here. They don't ever meet someone that's like, oh yeah, I was born and raised in DC. Like, 9 times out of 10, they're not a resident.
Yeah.
So it's you hear those reasons from all over the place, and it's always usually the same outcome of I always knew I was going to go to college. And growing up broke, that was an option. That was always like, if I was lucky enough, I would have gone to college.
Yeah.
But I was happy just being a plumber.
Yeah. So how does it feel being on? Because like I've done presentations, I've stood in front of people, but I've never, I feel like it's very different when you're when you're addressing people in like a professionalism type thing, and then you standing in front of people and you're like, all right, I gotta make this group of people laugh. And then I'm sure that you've had times where you tell a joke and no one laughs, and you're like,
so I guess like I feel like all things that phrase, all things lead up to something. So when I was in the military, like I said, I was an intel dude. My whole job was to brief. I was like the briefer for all. So when they were teaching us how to brief, they always had the drill of the angry general, and he's not going to appreciate anything that you say. Like no matter what you say, you're dumb, you're trash, or whatever. So I went to school learning how to handle pretty much hecklers and rough crowds by by person that can tell me literally that I'm dumb and I couldn't
Yeah.
say nothing. So if you can handle that, then a drunken bar show is nothing.
Yeah.
Like now I actually get to say what I really want to say.
Yeah.
Before. But yeah, it's so from doing that and doing comedy, all one and the same. It's I always believe how best way I can say this. I always believe that when you're presenting, you give you give yourself. So no matter if it's in a suit or in my normal 9 to 5 clothes, as long as I can make you laugh, I can run the show. And if I can present something serious while making you laugh at the same time, now I know that you're paying attention. And like I said, especially doing intel, it helps you remember what I'm saying. So that way people can trust me more with the intelligence that I'm giving them. If I just do, I trust Quentin. I know Quentin. He's a good guy. He's a stand-up guy. So
I like what you did there. He's a stand-up guy.
stand-up. So I love public speaking, man. I used to be shy. I'm an introvert. I still am shy, and I still am an introvert. But when all eyes are on me, from the boardrooms to on the comedy stage, it doesn't feel any different anymore. It was harder doing like the 9 to 5. Like, it was harder doing like briefings than it is doing stand up. Honestly.
So what do you like? So what are you like? And I don't know the answer to this. Is there like there's certain types of comedy? I don't know if that's a dumb question. Like, is there certain types of stand-up? Like, do you like are there genres of stand-up, or is it just like, hey, I'm a stand-up comedian?
Yes and no. There are different styles.
Yeah.
Oh, you got your observationist, like this is what I see, so this is how I make sense of it. I think like in today's time, we have a new breed of comedians, like the Instagram, YouTube comedians. I fucking hate those people, but but it's a form. Comedy's comedy. The only job is to be funny. So if I had the YouTube, Instagram talent to be funny on there, I totally would do it too. But I'm lazy, so that's never been my field. But to me personally, I feel like as long as funny is funny, stand up is just, you need a microphone and you need to be in front of people. And as long as you do that, no matter what your style is your style.
Mm-hmm.
As long as the number one rule is to be funny.
All right. So are you funny?
Hell no. No, I wouldn't tell no one to come see my damn show. No, I try to be. It's been easier. It's been harder. Well, the scene is different now because we're now just, we're slowly, maturely getting, everyone's able to go out. So comedy was at first was through this, we're doing Zoom shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that really makes you feel unfunny. It's telling jokes through this.
Yeah.
Because people got their phones on mute, people got their videos, the video camera blackened out. So you're just talking, and you're like, da 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 da, and you're just waiting for that reaction that you would get on stage.
Yeah.
But now, since everyone's slowly like trickling out of their houses and they go into the bars, they go into the comedy club, it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun. So, am I rusty? Hell yes, because I used to do this like every night. So now it's once a week.
Wow. Where do you perform at?
So I'm in DC. So DC Improv, the DC Draft House, or Arlington Draft House now. Um, I haven't traveled outwards yet, but in New York, Carolines, Broadway, in LA, Sandman, in Texas, mostly all the improv in Texas, from the Houston Improv to the Dallas Improv, Dallas, Funny Bone, Hyenas, all pretty much any Chuckle Hut that can bring me in.
Okay, no doubt, no doubt. So, who's your do you have a favorite comedian?
Yeah, yeah.
Like anyone you try to model off of, anyone you get inspiration off of, or just a favorite one in mind?
Inspiration was, yeah. So my grandpa, he had the vinyls. So growing up, before I even knew what stand up was, I was always listening to Richard Pryor and Red Fox. I think Red Fox was probably that, to me. Red Fox would be more or be higher than Richard Pryor to me. George Carlin, Patrice O'Neill, uh, your Bill Burrs, your Dave Chappelle's, uh, a lot. But the sad part is, now that I've done comedy, I have favorites now that I didn't know, like, that are not on the mainstream.
So, like people that you ended up seeing while you were out.
Yeah, like to this day, there's this guy in DC named Tony Woods. Every time I see him, Hall of Fame comedian. As any other, I think, top comedian. Who is this guy? And they're like, oh, that guy's hilarious.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I get to see him more often than I should. Like, so, yeah. So my numbers always change for the people that I get introduced to. But as far as historically, yeah, like the Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, Patrice O'Neill, Red Fox, Richard Pryor, George Carlin.
Got you. Okay. So what's next for you? Where do you see yourself? Like what are your goals, your aspirations?
Actually, right now, I'm studying for my foreign service exam.
Okay, what's
So,
that?
uh, so you work. So they fly you out to embassies across the country, across the world, and you just work at the embassy. Long story short, I'm working on trying to be an ambassador for some crazy little country that needs an ambassador. So I'm studying for that, so I can at least travel the world for free and do comedy on a paid salary and traveling.
No doubt. That's crazy. That's a dope ass idea. So you got anything funny for us?
Ooh, I got one that I'm working on. If it bombs, I blame you personally. No, so I always watch the news. I work in an agency, so I watch the news all the time. And one of the biggest news stories uh, that was popping off was about this whole critical race theory. Everyone was upset about critical race theory. Me personally, I'm for it because all my life I always had white teachers teach me Black history. Like I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I had to. It's embarrassing to have to tell your teacher the difference between Shaka Khan and Shaka Zulu, and you didn't laugh. So therefore, that joke sucked. So
No, it's funny because I know I got you got me because of the fact I like that. I like what you did there because of the fact that like you had me going on thinking like this. I didn't realize you had moved into a joke. I thought we were actually still talking. Oh, nah, I like that. I like how you just continued on the conversation and it became a joke. I like that. But
but not, but no, if all my stuff is on my Instagram and on my YouTube, so more professional, more polished versus conversational jokes.
No, that's good, man. I love it, man. I love, just bullshitting. I think it's funny. I think comedy needs to be available to people. You know what I mean? Like it has to be. I think it changes lives. It doesn't, people. And I like how you were talking about how there are a lot of people who don't know how to, don't want to seek therapy. So I see how comedy could be very therapeutic. So it's dope. It's dope what you're doing. It's dope the stuff you're trying to do.
Yeah, to me, that's been the best thing about doing stand up. Because again, it's DC. I think probably one of the most populated veteran spots in the country. So they come out and they have a lot of. Well, I know for me, I have when you have clearance, no one ever tells you how to maneuver with a clearance. They just tell you, hey, you just can't talk about nothing. So
Yeah.
for a lot of people, they've kept secrets their entire lives, um, but have no idea how to express themselves.
Hmm.
So I can tell you how to, here's a notepad, here's a pen. Write your story down, and I can help formulate. I can help show you the tricks of the trade of how to make that situation funny. And I've seen unhappy people smile, right? People that come into the game that used to have a spirit or have a flame inside of them that died, and now they have a purpose to make five people drunk at a bar laugh.
Hmm.
If that what makes you happy, if making other people laugh makes you happy, then you're already on the right path of being wise to be a queen. But if you don't mind me asking, man, what made you start this podcast?
It's I kind of like what you're saying. A lot of people don't want to seek therapy. A lot of people don't want to talk about certain things. A lot of people feel like they can't talk to anybody unless you are a veteran. My uncle, he will not talk to anybody who has never been in the military. So if you've never been overseas, if you've never been in the military, he won't tell you his story and he won't get into his story. Um, and I just realized, I got off recruiting duty and I love talking to people. I love talking. I love interviewing people. I love laughing. I love, camaraderie and stuff. So I was like, what if, there's a lot of like I'm not bashing like vet TV or anything like that, but you know, there's a lot of things out there that are therapeutic for some people. But then like vet TV, like if you're a civilian and you watch vet TV,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who are like, oh, that's really how it's like out there. And then it kind of puts a bad taste in people's mouth because then it's like, well, is it really like that? Or is that kind of off the wall too much? So for me, I was like, you know what? I want to be able to start something where, number one, I can get services out there. So if there's a nonprofit that's there to help service military members and spouses, but nobody knows about it, well, then what good is it? So if I can get that person on the podcast and talk about it, and go from there and get them more views, get more people, relating to each other and coming together, like bringing a huge part of it's just bringing people together. Like one of my first episodes I ever did, I after I did the episode, I found out that like three people on the episode knew three other people in Hawaii and North Carolina. So all of a sudden, one episode just brought back people that hadn't talked to each other in 12 years. And they were like, yo, how do you know him? And then how do I know him? And then, yeah, it was crazy. So I've had a lot of episodes do that where people are like, oh shit, you had so and so on. I've known him for 10 years. Meanwhile, I knew this guy for 10 years, but we didn't know that we both knew each other. So it's been a lot. It's cross populating, or cross pollinating, being able to talk about different subjects, talk about different things, talk about, military lives, family lives. And then a lot of it too, like I have a lot of episodes that I do about recruiting duty. Just because a lot of people don't, if you've never been on recruiting duty, especially Marine Corps recruiting duty, it's a vicious cycle of 3 years of your life. And a lot of people a lot of shit happens, man. There's people who've committed suicide on the duty. There's people who get divorced. There's people who do, alcoholism, get kicked out of the Marine Corps for drugs. Like, there's so many things that happen on the duty. And
Yeah.
no one ever talks about it. Nobody ever, wants to talk about it. So I was like, you know what? Let's talk about it. So I have a lot of episodes about that. I actually just switched over to doing YouTube. So that's why I did Zoom. Because at first I did like 30 episodes just with audio, but a lot of people were telling me that they only listen to YouTube, they're only on YouTube, and I was like, all right, well, fuck it, I got a pretty face, I'll try, and I can't, the only thing I can't do is make sure that my audience has a pretty face to look at, you know what I mean? So sometimes you got an ugly ass motherfucker on the other side, but you ain't nothing you can do about it. But
True.
nah, man, I just try to bring light to certain situations. I try to just get people talking about things that no one talks about.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm sure you saw it, and being in the Air Force, like, people deal with a lot of shit, but they just don't talk about it. And the reality of it is that, like, one of my friends, he's a retired sergeant major. He just got out of the Marine Corps, and that man, he went through alcoholism, divorce, loss of a child, loss of this, loss of that. And he ended up staying in the Marine Corps for 20 years and retiring. Okay. So my thing is, okay, well, I want to hear his story, because if he can go through all of those different things and still retire, okay, well, then why can't you? Why can't this person? So if he comes out and tells you how he did those things, and it's not more so like a, hey, sign your name here, you got this class, but it's just him talking about reality, then you're gonna want to listen more. You know what I mean?
And that's like again, I call them OGs, the ones that
Yeah.
could actually that did the 20 years, that went through. One of the greatest things I ever heard was, you can't acquire wisdom without experience. And when you hear it from people that went through a lot of things, and if it's more for the teaching side,
Mm-hmm.
if like, yeah, this is what I went through, this is how I messed up my life, this is my story, can you learn from it? Like, that's where I feel like it helps out a lot. And like, at least in the Air Force, like, I'm glad mental health is finally getting talked about. But I don't think people being honest with themselves about it. I think maybe the next baby generation can be the change for inside the service. I met people that at least for myself, you have to take that test. Hey, how many beers do you drink a week? I drank 2 beers a week. That's me. And how many beers you drink a month? Oh, I drank 3 beers a month. So, and so,
Well, it's like when I don't know if you know this, with the Marine Corps came out with this thing where it was like, you can have, I don't remember what it was, but the Marine Corps essentially came out and they were like, listen, if you're at the Marine Corps ball, or you're out at an outing, the rule of thumb is going to be 1 beer per hour. And then everyone was just like, yeah, we're gonna do that. And then at the end of the event, people would be like, how many beers do you have? 2. We've only been here 2 hours. I only had those 2. And
and that's my thing. If your officers are doing that, if the higher echelon folks are still lying about how many, like, so what change do you expect to
yeah.
have?
Well, and it's just like, and I've had this, and this is another thing, I do on the podcast. I talk about alcoholism, or I try to. And I find that a lot of my episodes end up talking about alcoholism, especially as I have a beer in front of me. And as now all of a sudden this episode has somehow landed us here. But, I didn't realize it was a huge problem. Like, you see it and you don't really think it's a huge problem until you look at your friend and you're like, hey, man, you know what? I'm going to have 6 or 12 today. And then your friend, who's a sober dude for 4 years, looks at you and goes, you just said 6 or 12. And I'm just like, well, yeah, it's either going to be a whole 6-pack or 2 6-packs. Like, we don't just go half here. Like, what? And then my buddy, one of the reasons why he's now 4 years sober. I had him on the episode, and one of the reasons why he became sober was, he was like, dude, I was drinking a whole bottle of Sailor Jerry's while playing Call of Duty, and I didn't think it was a problem. He's like, I didn't there was an issue with it until all of a sudden I realized that I was reaching to get even more. And then I was, he was like, lucky I was smart enough to not go out and get a DUI to go get more alcohol. But he was like, I've been there. I've been there to where I wanted to, and that's the thing is it's so, again, I'm not in the Air Force. I've never been in the Air Force, but like the Marine Corps, we're so surrounded by it.
Yeah.
The Marine Corps was founded in a bar, and people just drink all the time. And if you don't drink, there's something wrong with you. And or someone's like, "You really, bro? You're not going to drink?" And it's like, so it's it's the thing.
They get, even the Coast Guard gets turned. So it's on their jet skis while drinking martinis. They go at it. But I think that's just the armed forces culture.
Yeah,
we're all functioning alcoholics. Now,
bro, and that's the thing, man. And like you said, we're all functioning alcoholics, and it's for a long time I was like, you know what, it's not a problem. Like one of my friends, his dad, he's never been in the military. I'm not gonna say his name, but one of my friends' dad, dude, he'll polish off freaking 1, 2, 3 bottles of wine, and he'll go out jet skiing, motorcycling. Like he'll be out there, dude. But he wakes up at 5 in the morning. He goes to work till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Does it every single damn day. Owns his own business. Then he comes home and then goes, and then hey, but he makes sure he's in bed on time and he makes sure he's up at 5 a.m. to do it all over again. So like, so some people look at that and I'm like, that's not an alcoholic. That's just a man who likes to drink.
Exactly. It's a problem if you can admit to yourself there's a problem. Once you can do that, it's like, all right, what are you gonna do? What are you to do? Yeah. But that's a whole nother, to admit that it's a problem, that's a whole nother beast. So, but now, man, you're doing the Lord's work, man. So I hope nothing but the best for you in the podcast, man.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I'm trying to do it. It's hard because it's hard to continue to find content. That's the problem, because like, I can do episodes where like I hop on and I just ramble because I'll do that shit all day. But I don't want to do that and then nobody get anything out of it. Like I don't want to have an episode where it's just my voice and no one's listening. So I'm trying to keep content good. I'm trying to keep content, there. I am seeing a very big fluctuation. I'll just be honest. I have some episodes that have 250, 300 views. And then I have some other episodes that got like 15, 20 views. So I'm trying to do that. I have a couple of bigger named people that I've reached out to. So, trying to, get some exposure like that. But at the end of the day, man, I'm just trying to realistically, whether or not, would I love to do this as a full-time job? Like, would I love to have like an actual no shit studio where I fly you out to my house and then you come to this beautiful studio and then somebody picks you up in a limousine and I'm like, yeah, like, would I love to do that? 100% I would. Do I think I'll get there one day? I hope so. I believe so. I think eventually it could be there. But realistically, the matter of it all speaking is just like what I really want to do, like my real passion with this is I want to, and I've already done it for one person, but I want to tell people stories that are gone. So like, we have the 13 Marines that just recently died, right? And the one corpsman. What I would love to do is find people that knew those people and then do a segment on those people, because that, like, one of them had a newborn daughter, I believe, on the way. That daughter will never know her father, but that man knew thousands of people around the world, right? So if there's people who can come on the show and talk about that little girl's dad and be like, yo, he changed my life. He did this for me. He did this. I remember this one time where we laughed about this, this, and this. And now they can share those stories. Well, now that little girl, yeah, she'll never, because she's going to see pictures, right? Her mom, her family, they're going to show her pictures. But she'll never understand him from a deeper, more emotional sense. It's coming from like mom and the family. But, what about the Marines he served with? What about the Navy corpsmen? What about the Marines he saved, or the people that saw this thing happen? So that's another thing I really want to do, is get people's stories out there, just because they're not here to tell them. And also anyone who is here to tell them, tell their story to help somebody else. So yeah,
That's $1 million idea.
yeah. So that's what I want to do, man. But I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Before we get done with this, where can we find you on Instagram, on YouTube? Where can everybody listening find you and find some funny shit to laugh about?
All my schedules and everything are to be found on my Instagram at QM Hardy, QMHARDY, and same as YouTube, Quentin Hardy. I'm the only black guy with a microphone. I shouldn't be that hard to find.
Okay. All right, no doubt. Well, hey, Quentin, I really appreciate you coming out here, man. Thank you for, just talking about what you do, talking about, who you are. Thank you for just teaching us, a little bit about what you do. And, and also, what was the name of that company that you kind of got started up with?
Armed Service Arts Project. I will definitely send you their link, man.
Yeah, please.
If you want to hear good, like, again, I'm just a product of what they did.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to hear the millions of other people, like millions of other veterans that they've helped out, and they're expanding too. So right now they're in DC. They have a branch in San Diego. They have a branch in, I think, Indianapolis now. So the whole point is just helping out veterans.
Got you. Word.
So if you want, I can only tell you my side of how they help. But if you want to hear from the lion's mouth of what they do and how they help, I'll definitely pass you their information.
Yeah, definitely, bro. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it, brother.
No doubt, man. Hey, thank you, man. Hey, you have a blessed one, bro.